Hi, this is Maria from the Veggies channel. Today we're guests in a garden near the Terrace area. Although the house was bought a few years ago with an already arranged garden, the owner practically carries out major makeovers almost every season. Let's see what the garden looks like this year. Today, we'll start in an unusual way because we'll begin with the terrace. It was prepared and made by the owners themselves. The platform and steps were created from previously painted boards. On the terrace, especially during the summer, there are large pots with tomatoes, other vegetables, and flowers. As you can see, the wall was created by placing a pergola on one side and letting a climbing plant grow on it. Let's see how the garden looks from the terrace side. In previous years, the garden was basically just a lawn. This year, the owner decided to create a few additional flower beds and also to widen the side ones by several meters. The one behind me is mostly made up of grasses. We have tufted hairgrass, feathergrass, and also many varieties of miscanthus. Let's see how it looks on this flower bed. Between the grasses, pumpkins and zucchinis have been planted, which make a beautiful decoration for the garden. As you will see in a moment, they are spread out across all the flower beds here. Next to them, there are also forget-me-nots, zinnias, and cabbages. Not ornamental ones, but their beautiful color really stands out against the background of the flower bed. A few seasons ago, behind this huge wall of grasses, wild strawberries were planted. At first, there were only a few bushes, but now, as you can see, they make up a large, fruitful patch. We are in the central part of the garden. Here, the owner has marked out two circles. One is a fire pit, which was created using old bricks. On the other side, we have what the owners call a sandbox, which is a recreational area. Let's see what the edges around this area look like. The owner decided to create a real hedge. For this purpose, she used cherry laurels, which may not look very big at the moment, but in a few years, they will form a real green wall. At the moment, there are also various types of grasses and dark cabbages growing here. When I mentioned that pumpkins and zucchinis can be found in almost every part of this garden, I wasn't joking. See how beautifully they've been added to this rock garden. Right next to it, we have a triangular flower bed. As the owner herself mentions, this is the place where all her new acquisitions end up, and there are quite a lot of them. Here we have ageratums, zinnias, huge eupatoriums that we'll take a closer look at in a moment, and once again our cabbages, mini roses, and asters make an appearance. Look how interesting the flower bed looks, where the plantings have been arranged so that we have several different heights. Eupatorium purpureum is a very undemanding plant that will work in practically any garden. It's very easy to grow and can definitely be recommended to beginners as well. It has very beautiful and impressive flower clusters, and as you can see, it's also a very tall perennial. We are now in the more forest-like part of the garden. Here, at the very back of the garden, a beautiful wooden cabin has been built. Wooden elements can be found throughout almost the entire garden. There are many paths built not only in this area, but they also wind through the flower beds themselves. And since we're talking about the forest part, let's take a closer look at it. The path that was marked out here was made from pieces of wood and a large amount of bark. But look at what an interesting solution was designed, right here. In several places, a net has been attached between some of the trees. Ivy is supposed to climb on this net, which will create a beautiful green ceiling in just a few years. The path leads us to the most wonderful and most important place for every gardener, and that is the compost. In a Wansoa Bastiche, an amazing and atmospheric place was created for simply sifting compost. Look at the amazing way the old table was used here. We also have an old wooden frame with a mesh attached to it. And this way, a great spot for shredding and sifting compost has been created. The owner used a beautiful large steering wheel for the architecture of her garden. Beautiful family heirlooms can be kept not only in the living room. The family, who has been connected to the sea for years, is very attached to this keepsake. See how great it can look on this ivy-covered wall. The owner really wanted some parts of the garden to keep a very forest-like character, which is why in this area we have many shrubs, coniferous trees, and also huge ferns. It's blowing beautifully, it's just amazing. In this spot, the largest flower bed in the entire garden was planned. It is over 15 meters long. Here, not only roses and an apple tree grow, as well as other trees, but also leucostripes, asters, sedums, huge catmints, geraniums, and just see for yourself what else. This is also where the blueberries were planted, but among all kinds of plants, there are wild strawberries scattered practically throughout the entire area. We're slowly heading to another extremely important place in the garden. Between the heathers and the catnips, there's a path that leads straight to the greenhouse. We're right at the entrance to the tiny greenhouse. There aren't too many plants growing here now. We have the last of the tomatoes, but there's also basil, some Swiss chard, and arugula. One of the more interesting plants you can have in your garden is artichokes. These are rustic perennial plants that will not only delight the taste buds of those who have never tried artichokes before, but they are also beautiful ornamental plants. When I showed you the tiny cherry laurels earlier, I mentioned that over time they can really grow to a large size. Next to me is a specimen that is over a dozen years old, and I have to admit, it's very impressive. That's all for today. It's a pity I couldn't show you everything that's in this amazing garden, but maybe we'll come back here someday. I warmly invite you to follow the Wnętrza Zewnętrza channel, and I hope that soon we'll see each other in another garden.
Thank you.